Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to apply drywall tape to your ceiling repairs for no more cracks. If you stick around to the end of the video, I'll show you how to get perfect corners on your ceiling repairs every time. And if you missed the last video, I showed you a crucial step before you start doing any taping. I showed you how to mix the hot mud, and I also showed you how to pre-fill the tape joints before I did any taping at all. For ceiling repairs, I like to use a Fiberfuse drywall tape. It's great for laying flat and also is crack resistant. So that's what I like to use for ceiling repairs. And for the corner, I'm going to be using a paper tape, which gives you a nice crisp line when it's all said and done. For the joint compound, I'm going to use a USG all-purpose joint compound. I like to use that especially for the first coat because it has a lot of glue in it, so it adheres to a painted surface and to the joints real good. What you want to do is just add a little bit of water and get it a little more thinned out, because when you're bedding the tape, you want the joint compound to kind of soak in to the Fiberfuse tape. All you want to do is just kind of go back and forth, just kind of smushing it against the side, taking it off, doing it again. You don't want to add too much water initially because it could get too soupy. Just add water as you go. You want to get it to a thick yogurt-like consistency to bed the tape. Just keep mixing until everything's uniform. One thing I wanted to mention is that the Fiberfuse is a fiberglass matte drywall tape, not to be confused with a fiberglass mesh drywall tape. I'll have a link in the description to my Amazon influencer store where you can check out all the tools I use in this video and all the other videos I have on YouTube. So basically, I'm just getting a thin coat along the whole joint where I had pre-filled before. As you can see, I'm placing the mud to be able to control it a little better, so I'm not making a big wide swath over the joint. You want to keep your mud to a minimum, but probably about a 1/16 of an inch thick to bed the tape in. I'm just going around getting that up. Gonna smooth it out a little bit. You want to keep it pretty consistent. You don't want any humps or bumps. Just light pressure as you go. Then you take your Fiberfuse and just kind of roll it out. Pull it tight to the wall. You don't want any sagging in it or anything. And then take your 6-inch taping knife, and it tears real easy. Then you want to start in the middle and go one way and come back the other way. This prevents the tape from crinkling and moving. And then once you get it bedded, you want to go over it another time just to kind of smush out any of the excess joint compound. So I'm going to do the same thing over here on the other joint. Needed a little bit more mud. Smooth that out a bit. Now I'll do the same thing. Just going to pull the tape tight. I'm actually going right up to the other Fiberfuse tape that I just tore. Get a lot of questions about how far over, do you overhang it? And then again, going to tear it out. Super simple, tears easy. Start in the middle, then start in the middle and go the other direction. Now this is a pretty heavy textured ceiling, so I'm going to pay special attention to how the mud goes over the texture. I don't want any big blobs or a bunch of mud building down the repair. All right, on this last flat joint, I'm just going to get another layer of mud over here over the pre-fill. And then just place the tape where I want it, keeping an eye on where that joint is, and put the tape centered over that. And then I'm going to tear it with my knife and then go from the center one way and then back the other way and then across the whole repair. Clean that up a little bit.
Be sure to hit that subscribe button if you'd like to see more of these type of videos.
Hit those screw holes one more time. You just want to pull most of the mud right back off. It will fill if there's a divot if you go lightly over it and remove the excess joint compound. Got another little spot over here. I want to make sure this is nice so it stays nice and flat. I want a perfect repair on this. I am going to be skim coating over this ceiling. So if you're not, you need to definitely pay special attention to every time you run the mud. Go around one more time, just making sure everything's nice and tight. This is going to yield a perfect repair, no humps, no bumps. That's what you're looking for when the repair is completed. You don't want to see humps and bumps. I'm sure everyone's seen a crappy ceiling repair. I want to just feather this edge out right here just a little bit more, so I'm not going to have to build it up later. Let me know in the comments what kind of drywall repair you're working on. All right, so I want to make this a little soupier for the corner. Just add a little water. Again, you want to make the joint compound a little thinner because you want it to soak into the paper tape real good so it gets a good bond between the joint compound and the paper drywall tape. This is a good way to tell how thin or thick your joint compound is just by letting the joint compound flow off your knife back into the pan. It shows exactly how thick or thin it is.
Let me know in the comments if you're a DIYer, contractor, painter. Just kind of curious.
So I'm going to use paper tape for the corner. I just want to go out right to the edge and just tear the paper. Then fold it. This is basically the same concept as the flat tape joints, except you don't want to pile the mud up in the corner. You want to pay special attention to the corners always because you definitely want a nice crisp line. So I'm just adding the joint compound, probably a 1/16 of an inch thick, maybe a little thicker. I'm going to get it on both sides of the joint where the wall meets the ceiling. So you want to keep it nice and smooth, light pressure so you do leave the joint compound for the tape to bed in. Be careful because this is a little thinner of a joint compound. Then you take your tape, stick it in the seam, and just you can move it back and forth before you press it down, or even after. You can adjust a little bit before you wipe it with your knife. Want to take your finger, just run it down the edge, and then again start in the middle and go one way at the bottom, then in the middle go the other way. Same thing up top, start in the middle, go one direction, go back to the middle the other direction. That little spot's not going to matter. We've got 2 more coats and a skim coat going on. So basically you just want to smooth it out. And you don't want to mess with it too much. You just want to go over it. Make sure you don't tear the paper with the edge of your knife. Just light pressure. Stick a little joint compound in that hole. And there's your corner. Just like that. All right, so here's the repair. We've pre-filled before we did the tape work. Then we used the Fiberfuse drywall tape for the flat joints. And I still like to use the paper tape to get a nice crisp corner. And if you want to see the next steps on this ceiling repair project, be sure to hit that subscribe button now to keep up with all my latest videos. Also check me out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Thanks so much for watching.
Leave me a hashtag DrywallTube if you're enjoying these videos.
Check out some of my most popular video links down below in the description.